week of December, ready to have a nice chat, a nice holiday chat and kind of end of year recap with one of our very favorite real estate partners, Miss Maria Hickman with Galindo Group Real Estate. So, for those of you that are here already, thank you for joining. It's been a very fun last half of the year here, and we have a bunch of stuff coming your guys' way today. We're going to talk a little bit about some end of year strategy, what we've seen in the market over this last 60 days, what we have coming planned for the new year in 2025, and just kind of go through everything. So give me one sec. Let me go ahead and pull Maria in here and we will get started. There she is. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
Good. Aren't these always just so fun?
They are.
I
I
feel like
love my time talking with you.
oh, thanks. Yeah, these lives are always super fun, and it's a good way for us to kind of show our organic self to the general public. You know what I mean? So I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially with what we've been recently doing. That was one of the first things. I have some notes kind of written up on the side here that I wanted to get through. But one of my favorite things that you and I have been doing lately is these, I guess you would call them kind of like brunch and learns for our both past clients, our clients that we've already helped, served, funded, closed, all that fun stuff, and our new clients. So that's one of the things I think we should definitely kind of dig into because it is certainly one of my favorites. And it was
Yeah.
all your idea, really. So
Yeah. I've been doing them for a long time. One of my, I think it's just a natural gift that I have is gathering. I love
100%.
gathering people together, and I love networking, and I feel like everybody has something that you can learn from,
Yeah.
and no matter who they are, what they do, you can always learn something from everybody. And so I started the events originally like as an appreciation, like just to tell people how I appreciate them, especially our teachers and service workers out there. But then I saw, like, we were meeting people, and I was maybe intentionally, I thought, oh, this could be a client, but then they ended up helping me in another area, or I was able to help them get a job or connect them with somebody. Like, so many cool things have come out of those events.
Uh-huh.
And then seeing our past clients is always the best because I love keeping in touch with people.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that you do extremely well is, build the community. And for us too, as a local mortgage partner here in the community, someone that's born and raised here, that's what I focus on above all else is the
Mhm.
community. So yeah, you do a great job with that. And it's been, I mean, we've had not just great turnout, but we've had great response. We have a lot of, as being super big on the partnership side of things, we've had a lot of great, whether industry or surrounding industry partners come to the events. And yeah, seeing our past clients come and like kind of speak to their experiences with us has also been huge. So this
Yeah.
last one was super fun.
Yeah. I love it. And I'm so happy that you're a part of it with me. It's
Oh,
awesome.
thanks, man. Yeah, it got a lot of this last one. We had just like that roundtable discussion that we had with everyone really had a lot of good discussion going on, whether it was with like the solar side of things, the title, the insurance. It's one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is all of the different moving parts when it comes to home ownership, right? Whether you're buying a house or you actually already own a house, there's so many different moving parts that are involved in again, truly home ownership. Like
Yeah.
what do you find some of the biggest, most important parts of either the experience in the beginning or kind of the when you're already in the home?
Well, I mean, first of all, obviously having a great broker is most important because that's where it all stems from.
100%.
Like, I just won't work with people who are not pre approved and who don't have a strong pre approval because it's a lot of time, to spend with people to help them find the right house. And if you're running circles all around town helping people find a house, all to find out that they can't purchase that house that they so dearly fell in love with, it's a waste of everyone's time, and then for the client it's a waste of their emotion, right? So I think, like, the number one partner that matters with me is having a good broker who can offer my clients a lot of different options and who communicates. I know that's just crazy. And things like that. And then I would say the second would be a home inspector. I've gone through a lot of home inspectors,
Right.
and I think when you find a good one, Some and with the home inspectors, it's a fine line because you don't want them to be so over the top that they kill the deal, right?
Right.
Because resale homes, even brand new homes, they all have something wrong with them. But you want to make sure you have somebody who is going to find all the things that definitely need to be fixed to get these clients into a good house. So, especially in the beginning, those are my two most important relationships that I have.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely going to circle back to on the time side of things and having the right partner on like the mortgage and real estate piece, obviously super duper important. But the home inspector, yeah, a lot of times you actually don't think of like how important, how vital that moving part of the buying process is. When Jen and I bought, my wife and I bought our house in 2021, we unfortunately were not actually able to request repairs on our house. We had to purchase it as is, kind of with the demand in the market and all of that fun stuff. So
Yeah.
remember guys, when the market is, picking up, when it's super duper active, a lot of these sellers, they're going to pull back on some of these different opportunities you have currently right now in the market, right? So normally the process, Maria, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when you get into the purchase contract for your house, right? You have due diligence periods for different timelines. One of those is, of course, is your home inspection. And normally you guys get what, like 7 days to do a home inspection and submit a request for repairs, or
Yeah, you have to have the due diligence period I normally put in is 10 days.
10 days? Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. And then in that process, so we still did a home inspection on our house, even though we weren't able to request any of the repairs that we wanted. And one of the things that I loved about getting the home inspection done was getting the report afterwards. Because again, I couldn't ask for the repairs to be done. But once we were in the house, I actually took that file, that PDF file that the home inspector put in, and I had one of my personal like maintenance guys or handyman or whatever it was just come in the house and do all of the items. Do all like, there were like little knickknack stuff, fix that, patch this, whatever. But the home inspector found a bunch of it. So it was nice to kind of make sure that you're moving into and getting into the most comfortable situation possible. What have you seen? What are some of like the biggest catches that you've had, like kind of save your buyer, some money in the beginning?
Oh, a lot of it are like little things that are um like a for instance, the toilet, the connector to the toilet, it
Oh yeah.
might need to be replaced, right?
Right.
Like something like that. Or furnaces are a big one. There's something wrong with the furnace, like the pan isn't in there properly. And so, it can prevent, you got to put the pan in there to prevent any sort of water damage.
Right.
The latest one on one of the clients that you and I have, the backyard fence was like falling down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was a big one. Like that definitely needed to be addressed. But the good part is, a lot of it can and add up to extra credits towards their closing cost. If it's
100%.
things that you kind of lump some together and say, okay, all of this, if you had somebody come do it, it would probably cost you about $1,500. A lot of it you can do yourself
Right.
for probably 250, 300. Let's request how much it would cost to have somebody come out and do it because, what if you decided you didn't want to do it yourself?
Right.
And so it's a tool to help save your client some closing costs. But then there are like things like that fence situation. I would never have let the deal close without that getting fixed because
Yeah.
that's a big issue. You don't want somebody's wall falling down in the middle of the day. So it just depends on the situation. And sometimes we ask for a credit, sometimes we ask for them to actually get it repaired. And the other thing too, even if we get into a market where the sellers are not fixing things or giving credits anymore because they've got 12 offers on the table and they don't have to,
Right.
getting a home inspection is always something I tell people to definitely do because you can still get out of the contract based on
100%. Yeah. 100%.
if it was something big. And like you said, just so that and if you don't get it done right away, you can have your handyman come up with a schedule to get it done within the year, whatever it is that needs to be done. So to me, they're a must. I would never do it without getting a home inspection.
Yeah, I agree. And that's another thing too with, being a homeowner is like another like badge of honor when you got like, okay, I'm a husband. This is my job and my career. And I'm also a homeowner, which takes some of my time. You know what I mean? Like, so having a lot of those different whatever you can do to make that as easy as possible for you, definitely helps.
Yeah.
By the way, on that house that we're talking about for our client, it's a brick retaining wall or is it a fence?
No, I'm sorry, it's a brick retaining wall.
The reason I bring that up though is because with my in-laws from Ohio, in the Midwest, they don't have retaining walls.
Right.
I remember my nephew actually asked me, he's like, "Why do you guys all have brick walls in your backyard?" I'm like, "That's just how the homes are built out here." So, if you're watching this and you're not from Las Vegas, or even just actually in California, they don't have really brick walls either, retaining walls. They have fences too. But yeah, here in Las Vegas and Henderson, we have brick retaining walls, so it's pretty nice actually.
Yeah.
Nice for
Yep.
privacy,
Lots of privacy, yes.
for sure. Okay, circling back to what you were talking about on the partner side of things with the broker. So, time is so important in all of our lives. I feel like in our industry, especially on the real estate side, because you guys have so much boots on ground time with travel time with your clients, meeting with your clients, all of the work that you have to do ahead of time before you actually even truly have a client,
Right.
that people do not want their time wasted when you're submitting offers and you're doing showings, right? Am I right on that? Like, it's one of the
100%.
that's why, when we're submitting offers and we have a client that's pre-approved, one of the things that we're also doing in addition to getting an actual established pre-approval for the client is reaching out to that listing agent once that offer is submitted to make sure they understand the strength of the pre-approval, how far through the approval process the borrower's gone, and that we're not going to waste their time, right? Not just waste their time, but we're going to get them to the closing table as quickly as possible. But it's the time wasting part with, industry experts on our end. Those of us, you're super duper busy. You don't have time to waste that, we all try to make sure of and keep top of mind. Is
Absolutely.
that super important to you? Like when you're looking at offers on the listing side, of your business?
Yes. I love that whenever we submit an offer, you always reply all back and kind of give a synopsis of, where the client's at in the pre-approval process, and give the listing agent hope that, okay, this is going to close. Like,
Right.
this is not just some pre-approval where they haven't checked their income, they haven't done all this. And I do believe that is an integral part in winning deals,
Yeah.
having like that. Not only
Absolutely.
that, but it also shows the listing agent that you are open to communication with them.
Right.
That isn't always the case with some lenders. A lot of lenders, they won't reply back to the listing agent. They don't let the listing agent know, what's going on with the loan. And then me as a realtor, I have to get in the middle of that, and I don't want to get in the middle of that. That's the lender
Yeah.
and answering questions. So I think that is, there's many parts to you as a broker that I absolutely love, and that's one of the big ones because I do feel like it helps win offers, especially going into this coming up year when we're going to probably start seeing multiple counter offers. You definitely want to have that piece very solid.
Yeah, you need to know how to stand out. It's super important and I try to educate, especially my real estate partners too, or the people that I work with, even the listing agents when I'm talking to them. Like, what are you looking for? What should you be looking for when you have a pre-approval letter or an offer in hand, right?
Mhm.
So obviously we all know, or hopefully we know the differences in a pre-qualification versus a pre-approval. Then ideally, if you have an actual pre-approval where qualifying items have been collected, have they gone through automated underwriting? Have you collected all the items you need? How far through that process have you gone? And then kind of that next stage is like, how close to an actual approval can we be? And then how quickly can you get us to the closing table? So there's a lot of, like, most people, if they're newer in the industry, they don't necessarily know the differences between a pre-qual and pre-approval. Your client certainly likely will not know because a lot of times it's their first time buying a house. So a lot of that is, expectation setting, building that foundation of education with, obviously the client for sure, but then all of the parties involved. And it does help build trust, you know what I mean? Because trust is incredibly important from everyone, as you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially as a listing agent. I mean, you want to make sure that putting this house under contract, it's going to close. You
It
don't
is.
want to have to question that at all.
because the listing agent can look dumb for your mistake, you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
their client's house where that person is opening their home to people coming in and doing tours of the home and putting it on the market and whatever the case may be, and then if that listing agent has to go back and be like, "Oh, their deal fell through," it's like, it's not their the seller's only gonna be mad at the listing agent, not
Of
anyone
course.
else.
Yep.
So,
Of course. Yep.
don't make yourself, yeah, look like a fool. Make sure that you're definitely partnering with the right people for sure.
Yes.
Um, what do you I mean, in the last, I don't know, 6 months where the market's been, very, very advantageous on the buyer side and where we've had a lot more inventory to take a look at, what are you generally seeing as far as, like, timeline goes for your clients? Like, are we still, like, closing within 30? Are we closing in less than that? What does that usually look like with your clients on both sides?
Yeah, I think 30-day escrows are pretty common still. I will say that it's right now it's so much harder to find a house because there's not as much inventory.
Yeah.
And so, now that the rates are hopefully starting on the downward trend, I think everything's going to pick up, in my opinion, which, I can't predict the future, but I can just, doing this 23 years, I'm kind of used to seeing the trends and how it goes. So I think closings, like, as long this is kind of on the broker side. It's like, did you do all your work with your broker beforehand? Did you get them your pay stubs? Did you get them their income? Like, or are we doing a contract and then you got to go run and get all this stuff? Like, there's no reason why all of that can't be done before you put a contract in, and then just get them updated pay stubs and updated bank statements so
100%.
that we can rock and roll. Like, we can get the closing done 21 to 30 days.
Right.
Which is good because if here's the other thing, like, I, as a buyer's agent, if I know that the buyer can rock and roll and close in 21 days, especially like I said, going into this next year, if we get into multiple offers, um, a 21-day close looks a lot sweeter to a seller than a 30-day close.
Mhm.
So if I'm confident in my buyer's pre-approval and I know, like, we're good to go, we just need a contract, we need title, we need an appraisal, and boom, we're getting this done. Um, I just feel like it's going to put you as at an advantage with your buyers to be able to have that strong pre-approval to be able to close in 21 days if you need to. But right now it's still 30 days. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, it absolutely does set you apart, and that's one thing too on the partnership, right, side of things. When a lot of times when you're working with somebody that works at a bank or works at a big lender or whatever, they're getting paid some sort of an hourly wage or a salary wage or whatever, which is one of the reasons why urgency is not a very big factor to them, right? Especially on, when you're working with a banker that works at a bank or a depository, like they don't have control of what that speed and the moving parts look like
Right.
behind the scenes. But when you're partnering with certain people, right, the right people that like you, I do not get paid until we get to the closing table and finalize our deal, right? The listing agent, the buyer's agent, the title company, you know what I mean? We
Yep.
all don't get paid until that loan closes. So, I highly suggest, if possible, if you're in your real estate business, you partner with somebody that is like-minded like you and needs to get to the closing table to put food on their table. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's one of the things that, I have to, we have to make those deals work, right? We have to do it the right way. We have to be fast, efficient, and that way we can make a living for ourselves. So that's one thing too. I think people you know, they overlook a lot of times is, how is that other person getting paid, and what
Right.
is their sense of urgency?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, how about actually, let's pivot a little bit from work for a minute because I have some notes here I wanted to talk to you about your kids at Gorman
Okay.
and see how their football their football season went, and then we can circle back to work. But so this was the last season for one of your children, right? They're a
Yeah. For
senior this year,
Anthony.
graduated.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yes.
That's your second now that's out of high school?
Yes, he will be my second who's graduated. My first is decided just to go into the workforce, so he's a full-time worker, killing it, doing a great job, bought his own house. He's
Let's
he's doing
go. First time
fantastic at
homeowner.
20 years old, first
Yep.
time. I mean, that's so cool. So I'm so proud of him. Yeah, Anthony is officially done with football at the high school level. Right now, he's probably won't commit to a college until February because he's
Okay.
got options that he's trying to figure out what's going to be the best fit for him,
Cool.
to kind of help him perpetuate for his goals in the future. So, but yeah, it's funny. So we were at Gorman in 2001 to 2007. My husband was the athletic director during that period at Gorman.
Yeah.
And actually, my first was just born that time when we were there. Anthony was also born at our time at Gorman. And at the time, Kevin came in and really started to help Gorman get on the map.
Hmm.
He was really good at not just with football, but really good at helping all of the sports at Gorman become nationally ranked, and just, having the what do you want to call it? Like the understanding of how to hire coaches, what coaches to hire. It's not that Kevin did it, but he just hired the right people that were able to get that school like nationally on the map.
Yeah.
And then we left. We left, and Kevin went to Mater Dei. And coming back like this last 2 years has been so crazy, because we were at the Maryland campus before. Gorman was so different than it is today.
Right.
Always hated. You guys always hated Gorman,
Right.
right?
Right.
But even more hated today.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, it's not, I don't, and I don't want to sound like too much of myself, like when I say, but it's not fun beating teams by 60 points. Nobody wants that. And I
For
think
sure.
they've instilled the new transfer rule here starting next year. So every student athlete is allowed to transfer one time, and they don't have to sit out a year.
Right. Oh, wow. That's huge.
So I think it's going to start to hopefully get an even playing field amongst the schools, where we'll have a bit more competition in Nevada. We all want that. Nobody wants how it is right now. I know the public schools hate us. They don't want us.
Because you guys
And
dominated, right? Like there wasn't even a close second competitor as far as I know, right?
no, I mean, our strongest competitor was probably Arborview.
Hmm.
They scored in the first game that we played them. They scored 14 points on us, which no other school had done that.
Hmm.
So, and they've got a lot of talent. Like there's talent here in Las Vegas. There
Right.
definitely is. And that's why I think with the one-time transfer rule, I think you're going to start to see a lot more, even matchups.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. And but I mean, Gorman is a special place. It really is. The Fertitta family has really blessed in a lot of ways, but they also bless the public schools too. They do a lot for all the schools here. They're a wonderful family.
100%. Yeah, I actually remember in the early 2000s because I was in high school here in Las Vegas between 2000 and 2004. And I had a lot of personal friends of mine that went to Gorman as well. So I saw it from like somebody that wasn't going from Gorman at Coronado at a completely different school. Like, oh my God, I hate Gorman. They're so, you know what I mean? Like they're starting to whatever. And then all of my friends that were going to Gorman and they were like the new hot stuff and everyone. So I definitely very vividly remember that in the early
Yeah.
2000s. So that's hilarious.
Yeah. I know. It's so funny.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What do you guys have planned for the holidays? Are you guys going to be here in town? Are you guys doing Christmas away? What is your game plan through the end of the year?
So my son Davin, who's in 8th grade, his team is going to play in Florida for the national championship, Vegas Strong, a 14U team.
So
And
they're
then
all studs. All your kids are studs then.
well, they have a stud as a dad that kind of
Yeah.
helps them. And they get some of it from me
Sure,
too.
of course, of course.
I'll be in Florida with him for about a week and a half. I think it's like 10 days, whatever. And then we come back, and then Davin also got invited to the Under Armour game, which is a really cool thing that he received. It's kind of like the best in all the positions go and play in Orlando, Florida
Dang.
over New Year's. So this year we're just going to stay home. Sometimes we go on vacation for Christmas, and that's like everyone's Christmas present.
Right.
But this year we decided we're just going to stay home and just do a traditional Christmas, just because all the traveling before and after, it's going to be a little bit crazy. And then with Anthony trying to decide what college he's going to go to, he's doing a lot of college visits.
Oh,
And
cool.
so him and Kevin are traveling every weekend to a different college try and decide which college he's going to go to. So it's crazy around here. I just want to like put my feet up and do nothing at Christmas. What
100%.
about you?
So I had with my wife's family, so her mom and dad, they are separated, married with other families. So I had our dad here last weekend with his wife, and they stayed with us for a week, which was fantastic for kind of that Thanksgiving week. And then I have my mother-in-law that's going to be here tonight that flies into town, and she'll be here with us for a week. So my
Oh,
family
that's
obviously lives here,
awesome.
but yeah, we like to have my in-laws in town for a week or so around the holidays. A lot of times we'll go to Ohio with my wife's family and spend kind of Christmas there, and I'm always still working, so that's always a blast, working remotely during the holidays, which is crazy.
Yeah,
But this year we'll be here, so we'll be here and kind of hosting and doing our thing here. So it'll be fun. The weather here is like amazing. So
I know. Yeah, yesterday I was walking out of an appointment and I was walking with like a light sweatshirt on and I was just thinking to myself, if I was back in Ohio, which obviously I'm from
yeah,
Ohio and Michigan area, I would be bundled up, freezing, snow would be blowing in my face. Like we are so blessed to live in this
yeah, it's
place.
insane. Like you just don't realize. I mean, I started going to Ohio like I don't know, 15 years ago. So now I guess I have acclimated, but I mean, even till this day, sometimes I'll forget, like when we're hot, because we normally will take a red eye when we go back, and I'll forget sometimes, and I'll be wearing like my shorts and my like gym tights underneath my short, like just whatever I would normally
Yeah,
wear to the gym for my flight, and then not realizing when I get off this flight in Ohio, it's going to be snowing and 20 degrees if I'm luck, and it's just like it's insane. So
it's terrible. It's
the
so
win-
cold. Like I can just feel it in my bones right now as you're talking about it. It's like,
I know. And
no.
black ice, oh my gosh.
Oh,
I still have not gotten used to just that kind of slow, large lunging walk that you have to do, I feel like on the driveways and stuff. It's
yep.
crazy.
Otherwise, you'll
Uh,
go sliding down.
and I've done it many, many times. So I have to ask you too with Kevin, because this is one thing that's always been, because I was I played baseball my whole life, grew up as an athlete, whatever, did my thing with baseball, but I didn't grow up in like one of my parents was a professional athlete or my parents were college athletes, but my niece and nephews are growing up like that. Both my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law were like D1 college soccer players. And, maybe had soccer been more lucrative, they might have been professional soccer players. But what they've done with their kids, my niece and nephews, is like insane. They're the most talented soccer. I mean, I don't really know that much because I'm not a soccer dude myself, but they're the most talented, successful, like, and they're at the 13 kind of between 10 and 13 age range. So it's like
Yeah.
incredibly competitive and everyone's kind of on these travel teams, whatever. It's amazing to see. How early on did you and Kevin kind of know that that was what the boys wanted to do, or your kids wanted to go that route? Or was it like right away?
Well, we're a big believer in put them in everything and then see what sticks. Of
Right.
course, in our heart of hearts, we were praying it was football because I'm a huge football fan and so is
Right.
Kevin, obviously. But they played everything. And Cade, my oldest, stopped playing football at the end of his seventh grade year. He had a
Oh,
bad
okay.
experience with a really bad coach. And it was unfortunate, but it just burnt him out. And
Sure.
so then he got into soccer and volleyball and was very successful all through high school with both of those sports. But they all started playing tackle football. Now, this is going to be a controversial statement because not everybody believes in this when they were
Right.
5.
Okay.
And our thought process, there's two schools for thought. There's one like, why start them so early? They're hitting, they have, all this gear on, whatever. Both mine and Kevin's thought was, why not start them that young so they get the proper, way to tackle, the proper way to hit, like those foundational things that you teach them at an early age keeps them safer in the long run, was
Sure.
my thought. Also, at that young age, they're not hitting that hard. So it's not like you're getting concussions at 7 and 8 years old.
Right.
That happens more in the high school level. And if they're taught the proper way to tackle, taught the proper way to take a hit, though you're lessening the chances of that. So
Right.
they all got started with football very early. They all played soccer. They all played baseball. I'm trying to think what else they all played: baseball, soccer, football. Couple ran track.
Oh, cool. No
Um,
basketball?
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, basketball too.
Oh, that
They all play basketball too.
okay. They're
And
just
then
athletes.
yeah, so, they tried everything and they weren't great at everything. Like,
Mhm.
they struggled in some things, but at the end, probably 8th grade year, 7th, 8th grade year is when they all kind of made the decision just to play one sport, except for Kate. He played volleyball and soccer. And
Right.
then the boys all decided to play football. So but yeah, I think it's important. And I'll be honest, I don't even like that high school kids don't play multiple sports anymore. Back in the
Mhm.
day, that was the thing. And I think it helped with injury because you were using all different type of muscles and different
Right.
sports, you use different muscles, right? And so I kind of don't like that it's only a one sport thing anymore in high school, but it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
they practice all year round. They're in the weight room all year round. You really can't play another sport. You probably could do track
Mhm.
as a football player, maybe even wrestling, which would be a good one to do, but it's hard, to do multi sports anymore.
Yeah, 100%. And even though your husband was in the NFL, you are the bigger lover of football,
I am.
huh?
Like, yeah, I mean, he watches football from a totally different perspective than I do. So like when he watches football, he sees it's like art to him.
Yeah, he's
Like
like in the Matrix. He
yes,
sees the
he
numbers.
sees the play coming out. He knows that he sees the whole field, right? When I watch football, I'm watching the play, like what's happening and I absolutely love football. Yeah, football's been in my blood since I was 5 years old. My dad started taking me to Detroit Lion games when I was 5 years old, and that was my dad and my thing to do on the weekend. That's how we hung out. So,
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. Have you been to the UWM campus in Pontiac?
Uh the what one? What are you talking about?
So the UWM, the lender, United Wholesale
Oh,
Mortgages
no,
campus
I
is
have
nice.
not, but last time I was going to Michigan, I ended up missing my flight early in the morning and didn't make it.
Yeah.
But I was supposed to go and I haven't been, but I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah, that's one that we're gonna have to go because I'm gonna set up some sort of we did not this last summer, but the summer before I took like 4 or 5 of my real estate partners out there and we all had a good time because it's just, it's not super close to Detroit. It's like maybe 45 minutes away
Yeah.
or so, but it was fun. It was a cool experience. And then obviously with UWM being the biggest wholesale lender in the country, it's nice to kind of get there and be immersed in their culture for a little bit. But it's fun to kind of while I was there, I did a little bit of the Detroit thing. I drove down 8 Mile, which as a big
Ah,
M&M fan, that was fun. And a little scary, honestly, because it was at
yeah,
night. But um, and then drove to Cleveland afterwards. But yeah, maybe we'll have to plan to do that maybe this
that would
summer
be
sometime.
awesome. I would love to do that. And Detroit has changed so much. It's such a cool city
Yeah,
now.
airport's so nice. People don't
Mhm.
realize that Detroit airport's super duper nice.
Yeah.
We fly there a lot. Because my mother-in-law lives in Lakeside, like Marblehead, Ohio, so it's on
Oh,
like the
yeah.
lake, super close to the Lake Erie side. So
Yep.
we fly into there sometimes. All right, cool. How is the new office going over at Galindo Group?
I tell you what, like I love the office. I love the
Culture,
people there, the culture. It's so like think out of the box and it's funny like I can't put my finger on anything that anyone has necessarily done to help my business
right?
grow. It's not like, they've handed me clients or they've done it's just I think when you're around that positive and just that energy, it comes around. And
100%.
my business has really started to take off and just having somebody a leader like Josh who um he's there for you with anything that you need. He is innovative, always thinking of another way to not only help his business but help our business as realtors that are under him. And I just love that. I love that it's not, he's got a gazillion things going, right? he's
Mhm.
he's got his flipping business, he's got his rental business, he's got the real estate office. um and I'm sure he's got other things going that I don't even know about, but yet like I talk to him as if he has nothing going on. Like if
Right,
I
that's awesome.
text him, he texts me back. It's not like and and that's hard in a very successful broker. I have not found that.
Right.
Most of the time, successful brokers are not able to be spoken to, and they have managers or they have assistants. And with him, he's available, which is awesome. And let me say this: Josh would probably say he's available to people who are putting in the work.
100%.
He's not going to be available to just, somebody who just wants to pick his brain and get ideas from him. But if he sees you genuinely are trying to work hard and get out there, he's available for you. And I love that.
Yeah, that's because winter's time is valuable, you know what I mean? And that's one thing with and this is the same in, like, life, like, you know what I mean? I've explained this to my brothers many times before where it's like, if you want to be super successful, you have to be around successful people, like, you just have to be, you know what I mean? So when
Yep.
you're in that environment, you're in that culture, when you're around winners, right? It's not even about, like, the handouts or the this and that, it's just about being in that culture and that mindset.
Yep.
Because yeah, it really does transform the way that you think about business or that you even want to do business. Because
Yes.
in real estate is so tough. You know what I mean? Like people do not realize, our clients do not realize all of the things that we're doing behind the scenes and all of the moving parts, all of the hands involved. Like it's tough. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The art and the trick of what we do is how easy we make it look or seem to people, which is what we do, but it's extremely difficult. And you want to be around those people that are kind of going through the same motions with you. They're having the same experiences and they're still dominating. You know what I mean? Especially in like this market, like 2024, for a lot of people, when I pick up the phone sometimes and call my real estate partners and they're like, "Oh, I haven't done a deal in 6 months," or "I'm actually getting another job," and I'm just like, what can we do to help? You know what I mean? Like, but
Yes.
at some point though, again, it's not you almost have to help yourself. You know what I mean? So
Well, it's like that saying, you can only lead a horse to water, right? And then
right,
like we're all on the same even playing field when it comes into real estate. And I just saw a statistic like Las Vegas has the most influx of agents of any other city in the whole United States. We have
right,
the most new agents. And while that's exciting because it shows that people are loving this industry, what they're not showing is all the people that are getting out of it,
hmm,
because I do think that the money that people think real estate agent makes is glamorous and it's out there, but you don't see the work that it takes to make that money. You're not just working a 5-hour day.
right,
You're in 3 days a week. I mean, when I take time off that next month, my salary reflects the time I took off. I don't
absolutely,
have any money coming in.
right,
But then when I work hard, when I'm working, 10-hour days, 7 days a week, that next month, my salary reflects that.
100%.
But I think a lot of people get into even the mortgage business. People think that it's, you know, fast and easy money, and it's not. It's a lot of work, and we're entrepreneurs. We're
Yep.
we're business owners, and people don't treat it as such. And Dana White said one time, how people get into business thinking that they're going to make their schedule, and your schedule makes you if you're going to be successful. You don't take days off. You don't take time off. You've got to work. So that's
100%. Yeah, that's people always they're asking me all the time, especially now since I've opened my own company and they're now, "Oh, wow, you owe me," and I'm just like they're like, "Well, how often are you like, what's your schedule like?" And I'm like, I'm probably working, I don't know, 80 hours a week. I'm 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week." So,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's, by choice. I
Yeah.
want to do that. I know that I have to do that to be successful, but by choice, right? You need to be able to put the work in, especially in this industry too. You have to think of like, when are we doing business, right? So if I'm working with my clients, I need to be working with my clients when they're available. They're not
Exactly.
available 9 to 5. They're at work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're available early in the mornings, or they're available 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. at night. So a lot of times, and this is very, very, different on the finance side, where a traditional banker or person that works, at a depository, they're done at 5. Like, they don't even have a phone for you to call them after 5.
Yep.
But that's when we do the most of the majority of our business. So, that too, with the partnership piece, is super duper important. But yeah, the more hours that you put in, I feel like in this industry, obviously, the harder you work, the more that it will bear fruits for sure.
100%. As long as you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Definitely know what you're doing and put that time direct that time appropriately. But yeah, definitely and the money part too, I feel like the money part is always weird with people because they see like a large number. Like if you get a $10,000 commission check or whatever, it's like, do you have any idea? Like if you broke it down into like an hourly wage and how much of your own money have you put into like on your side, the marketing piece, the
Yeah.
driving, the gas, the so on and so forth. It's like
Yeah. I
in
know. I mean, it is a good living, and if you do it right, you should be blessed because you're out there making things happen for people. But yeah, the amount of hours and like you were talking, people don't know what you're doing behind the scenes.
right,
But like I literally wake up at 5 a.m. I have 5 a.m. to about 5:45 as my quiet time, my peaceful, restful time. And I am literally going from 6 o'clock a.m. until sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
right.
And it's just taking care of things and making sure my clients are covered, making sure they're protected, making just doing the research I need to do before we write offers to make sure that the offer is the right offer amount. Like there's so much that goes into it. So yeah, it is. But I mean, it's a great career. I don't think I would ever want to do anything else than this, but it can be trying sometimes. But I'm excited for 2025. I think 2025 is going to be a great year for us.
I think it'll be the bounce back year, for a lot of us that have maintained and still found success through this last couple years. It's
Yeah.
definitely going to be the bounce back, and we're going to be definitely rewarded and blessed for still being here and not just like surviving, but still thriving. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like those of us that 2024 is going to come to an end with, I'm going to probably have the best numbers I've had in at least a few years, you know what I mean? In what
Yeah.
would be, considered kind of a down market or a slower time for a lot of people. Definitely having one of my most successful years. So, with that, and as the market, because you've been in the industry a long time, you've been in and around the industry. I grew up in the industry, so I understand it from that lens of whether it was me myself being in it or just seeing, my mom go through it for in the 90s or the early 2000s. It's very cyclical, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's ups, there's downs, market changes, markets fluctuate. So there's times, you know what I mean? There's times where you have to stack cash, there's times when you have to be uh you know going to get more of it and kind of deploying that to get more of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think 2025 is going to be a solid year for those of us in the industry, and probably even a bigger year for those on the client side, trying to buy or even more importantly, refinance. Those that did buy and now have an opportunity to refinance is going to be a huge, huge win for them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
do you have, because I know that you're like me, you're really good at keeping up communication with your clients even after the fact, once they're, kind of settled into that home. Do you have a large book of business kind of going into next year that you're kind of eyeballing and keeping contact with?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have, well, because I just moved back here 2 years
Right.
ago. Most of my clients that have purchased and sold and purchased again are not going to probably be looking to sell their house. So
Right.
but I do keep in touch with them because they may be ready to refinance, and I can push them over to you to get a great refinance, or they may know somebody who's moving in or whatever. So I keep in touch with everybody, and even my clients from when I was a realtor in my other states, I keep in touch with them because
100%.
you never know when someone's either going to move here or they need an agent, and I can refer an agent to them. I want them to still get the same kind of customer service that they got with me. And
Right.
I know agents all over the country. So if I can refer somebody to somebody who has the same work ethic as me, I want to do that because I still care about, like, that's the one thing too. Like some people make things transactional. And I know both you and I are very big on it's relational. It's
Yeah.
building a relationship. And maybe that sounds cliche and people say that all the time, but it really is that for me. I want to know what's going on with your family after. I want to hear, your wins, your successes, your failures. I want to be a part of your life. Now, no, I can't go out to coffee and drinks with you every week, but I still want to know what's going on in your life. I do care about the people that I'm helping and serving. So I'm big on keeping in touch. One of the fun things I do with my clients is every Thanksgiving, I bring a pie to their house the week of Thanksgiving. And it's a way to help them cook one less thing. And it's also a way to check in on them and see how they're doing. And that day that I go to deliver pies is a really fun day. I get to hug everybody, see everybody, find out what's happening. I can't wait till the day comes where it takes me 2 to 3 days to do it
Right.
because, I've served so many people here. But so those are the kind of things I like to do. And, randomly I will drop something off at a client's house. Just if I think of them and I see something that reminds me of them, I'll put it on their front door and shoot them a text and say, hey, there's something at your door. Because they do become a part of my life and it's
Right.
really, really important. So yeah.
Yeah, relationships over transactions for sure. I definitely came back into the mortgage business in 2016 just with that philosophy already, luckily. Because people don't realize like the transaction is just the very, very beginning. When you close on that home, when you become a homeowner, that is the very beginning of your journey.
Mhm.
And for us to be there as like their partner and their resource, right? It's something too that I'm like reminding everyone, like I'm gonna be there at the closing table and well beyond that because not just because I want to be, but because those clients need us. You know what I mean? We're a resource for them, whether it be in the house, on pieces of mail that they're getting, for, you know, family, friends, and neighbors and stuff that also need a partner. So it's, yeah, being a resource for someone, not just until they get to the closing table, until we get paid, is very important, especially in
Yes.
our industry. So,
Yes. Absolutely.
uh, yeah. What else? So we have like 10 minutes or so left. It'll put us at the hour mark. Trying to think. By the way, we just completely never even talked about I'm wearing an elf hat this entire
I
time.
know. I was
We
like, I
didn't,
wasn't festive. I should have bought something.
right? I couldn't find my other regular Santa hat, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll go with the elf.
I
That's fine.
like it.
Yeah, gives it a little character for the stream.
Yes.
Hilarious. What's your biggest takeaway from this year? Like with how kind of tough things have been. You've seen obviously a lot of clients have success still through this year. What's like the biggest takeaway, for 2024 or even 2023 and 2024?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest thing, the word that I could put onto it is adapt.
Okay. Like that.
You can't continue to do things the same as status quo as you've always done. You either have to learn to adapt or you're going to fizzle out.
Right.
And so strategies and how to win offers, strategies on how to get your clients the top notch of everything that they need, strategies on how to get clients, how to find clients. There were 2019, 2020, it was easy. We
Right.
just had to hold out our hand and we had clients coming to us. But 2024, you had to go out there and be intentional about finding people and educating people on why it was a good time to buy. Yes, interest rates are at 8%. Why should I buy? Here's why you should buy. This is, and then walk the walk. I bought when interest rates were high. My son
Right.
bought when interest rates were high. They say it's,
Right.
but so the educational piece, throughout, like going into 2025, let's educate people why getting into a home in the first quarter is probably going to be a good idea, right?
Right.
Because the interest rates are not going to be at their lowest point. We're not going to have 20 offers on a house. Get in there, get before the house gets inflated, and we've got to like offer 20,000 over list to win the house. Like, and then you go to Mario and you refinance when the rate is low. So you're the winner. Like
Yep.
you have won the best of both worlds. So education and adapting to the sign of the times. What's going on in the world? Just adapt and move on, because a lot of people don't have. I don't know if it's the ability or they just don't have the desire to adapt. They just
Yeah.
want to keep things because it's comfortable and this is the way they've always done it and this is the way we should do it. But those are the ones I sadly that I think didn't have successful years in 2024. So that's what I would say. Adapt.
I would 100% agree. Yeah, and I feel like that's why just as these years go by, like our partnership just keeps growing and growing and getting better and better is because we lead, the same way, right? We have those same philosophies when it comes to, educating and really walking the walk. One of the things that I don't do, or I feel like I don't have to do with my clients a lot of times, is show them all of the magic in the beginning, right? Like we have all of the tools and ability to get you the lowest rate, get you a temporary rate buy down, get you the closing costs, get you like we have those in place, ready to go and ready to deploy for our clients. And we're masters at them, experts at
Mhm.
them. We do them all the time. But it's all of like the underlying more important, like crucial items, right? Being educated, making sure that you understand all of the moving parts of the home buying process. What does being a home buyer after the fact, once you're in that home mean? What does being a renter mean to you for the next 5 years? It's like that's the scariest part to me. Like that's
Mhm.
coming from someone that rented themselves for far too long and experienced all of those, whether forget about just like rent prices going up, obviously, and that sucking. But I went through like, one holiday actually in I think it was like 2009 or 10. We were renting an apartment, and at the apartment we worked evenings, so we were up at night sleeping during the day at the time, right, in the service industry. You put your rent check or whatever in the little night drop off, and just 1 month someone just stole it. It's gone. And we ended up that sometime in that December of that year had an eviction notice on our apartment door because they didn't get our rent. And no, you know what I mean? Like
You
these are
didn't know, yeah,
it's just random. Like when you're a renter, you're at the mercy of somebody else.
yeah,
When you're a homeowner, you've now empowered yourself both, personally and financially for your future.
yeah,
So those are all of the things I feel like that both you and I do really well for our clients and help educate them and, kind of help them understand those super important parts.
yeah,
The actual stuff inside the like I said, the rate buy downs, the interest rates, the refinances, those are super duper important. But those are the cherries on top. You know what I
mhm,
mean? It's the underlying issue for sure. So good
yes.
job. Keep up the great work. I'm very
You
proud of you.
too. Thank you.
2025 is going to be huge. We keep telling all of our clients that have not already, right? At least get out there, guys. Like, get yourself pre approved, get yourself. You would like to ideally try to understand the qualifying process and see how you'll be approved 6 months before you actually want to do it, a year before you actually want to do it. Have these conversations with the experts, right? You have Maria on the real estate side that will guide you through every part of that every step of the way, right? She's going to explain everything to you on how to win, like what are the expectations and how to win. And then on the
Right.
mortgage side, right, it's our job to make sure that hey, you do have the employment history that you need. We do understand how you're getting paid, what your income is. Are you base salary pay? Are you hourly? Are you commission? Are you self-employed? Are you a bit like there's so many moving parts there that we can figure out pretty easily to set you up for success, right? Do you have a down payment? Are you going to save for it? What do getting gift funds from a family member mean? Like there's so many
Yeah,
the
do we need
nuance.
seller concessions? Because before
Yeah,
we even put an offer, we wanna know how to write the contract to
exactly.
make it successful for you. So, yes, being prepared ahead of time, oh, it just makes everything go so much better, so much better.
Yeah, this business, this industry, guys, is, we have all of the answers. Okay. You're going to take a test to where we have all the answers for already, right? It's just a matter of getting you into the groove of understanding, learning, being educated, and then just moving forward. That's
Yep,
the hardest part for most people, to be honest with you, is just taking that next step forward. And that's usually because they just don't have the right partners. They don't have the trust in the people that they're working with. So,
absolutely.
all right. Happy holidays. Great job.
Thank you. Merry Christmas,
Absolutely.
everybody. Happy
Merry
New Year.
Christmas. I know you guys dominate the end of the year, and 2025, it's gonna be the best year yet.
Yes, I agree.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Happy holidays. Tell your family we said hi.
Okay, you too.
Oh,
Bye.
wait, December 27th, I'm gonna see you at that dinner?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. We'll keep that on the down low. That's private, but okay, we'll see you December 27th.
Okay.
See you, buddy.
Bye.